Well, happy Tuesday, folks. Happy Acolyte release day. And happy Dork Discourse party, baby. Looks
What's up,
like
everybody?
early gang, ROGs. The usual crowd is all here. We got Alice, we have Sean, we have Charlie, Julian, J-Man, brother, what's up? Thank you for watching all the last episode reactions. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. What's going on, crew? Happy short week for my fellow Americans.
Yep.
Jason Olsen was up there in the early squad as well with Epic Dude. Yes, happy week of our nation's birth, everybody. Happy big vacation week, hopefully for some of y'all.
Yep.
And for everybody else, happy regular week. Happy Tuesday. Happy Acolyte release day. Andrew, what is up? Stanley's are here. Guitars and Death Stars, best username ever. Let's get it. Jaeger is here. Let's go, team.
Whole crew.
Everyone's showing up for what should hopefully be another exciting episode this evening. Blue Winter, what is up? Hello. Yeah. I of course, I couldn't help myself. I know that was a very spontaneous live stream that I ended up doing last week, popping on for a few hours to chat all things that episode, and try to just emotionally process with y'all. It was a lot. It was quite a lot to digest, and I needed to just do it with you all.
Yep.
So that I kind of had to just get that out of my system. So I fear I might have exhausted some of my talking points when I just kind of rallied with you guys last Wednesday to just digest and dissect the drama, the absolute chaos, the absolute annihilation of that episode. My brain just short-circuited.
Yep, those are all good adjectives to describe what happened.
Take it away, because I vented for a while on stream. We talked about it, but nobody's heard from you yet. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, my thoughts are, they did not disappoint from the cliffhanger that they left at the end of episode 4, and they took it to a whole nother level that even we hadn't really predicted. I mean, I think we were talking last week about, okay, how many Jedi are actually going to survive this? But not only did none of them survive except for Soul, but they got it handed to them.
A little more than that.
They didn't just not make it. They
were slain.
They got punished. They got demolished. It was fast. It was
furious.
Quick. It was new with the head butting and the cortosis. And it was incredible choreography and intense, and then no, just cutthroat deaths to two of the main characters of the show. Totally unexpected. I think every reaction that we've seen, and even your reactions on tape, but my reaction watching at the same time, not on tape, literal
shock.
Just gasp, jaw to the floor, totally stunned at the way that Jackie and Yord went out. Combining Jackie's death with the face reveal that fashion, just incredible. And then obviously your spine gets turned to jelly. Totally unexpected. And shocking. And really the reality is, we don't really know where it goes from here. We know that Soul has some hidden past that we're going to eventually find out about in the last 3 episodes now, 6, 7, 8.
I imagine, and I think somebody suggested we might get the other side of the flashback this evening. Says Guitars and Death Stars, which I think you could be right. I don't want them to pump the brakes. I'm curious because I feel like they need to capitalize on this absolute epic momentum right now, and I really don't want it to slow down. I want it to just keep going because we're at a really awesome peak right now. That was a major mid-season climax / shock to the system to really shake things up and also convert a lot of people who had up until that point still been kind of skeptical about the show, not necessarily on board, but even people in my comment section, which has been riddled with more, negativity than usual, this show being quite the outlier when it comes to the crowd that it attracts here on this channel. You guys know the community here, but for for that episode, I had more comments being like, all right, that was actually pretty cool. That changed my mind, and it was like, yes, thank goodness. I was happy to hear that. So I need them to capitalize on this. Yeah, I think they've really set it up now. I'm torn because I'm really verging on like I need these answers from Soul. What he happened. There's been now two different instances in which he has said, I'll explain everything.
Yeah.
I'll explain, let's have a heart to heart, and then of course fell short and that did not come to fruition. So it's like, all right, third time's the charm. I imagine that will happen if we get flashbacks, but I don't necessarily I don't know if that's right coming off of everything that just happened.
Yeah, I think they could do it in a way where it's not going to be like episode 3 and it's not going to be like a whole episode flashback. I think probably what they could do, and what's going to be interesting now, is that I think that based on what Qimir said, stating the obvious, that now that he's revealed himself, he can't let any of them live. And he can't let, theoretically, any of them get back to, leave the planet to get back to Coruscant. So I think what we could see happen is like Soul and Osha, really May, and Basil are back on the ship. And I think that we're going to see Soul confess to May what really happened.
Because he thinks that she's Osha. Yeah,
he thinks she's Osha. So I think that Soul is going to confess to May. Meanwhile, Osha was brought back from the dead by Qimir.
But he's got all the answers as well, clearly.
He's got answers, but are they the same answers?
But here's the question, who do you trust?
Clearly May has been lied to. Like, they've both not been given the full story. Because May's story turned May to the dark side. Made her want to take revenge on the Jedi. Osha's point of view made her want to continue to join the Jedi because she thinks they saved them. So clearly they have two different perspectives. I think Soul is going to give his perspective to who he thinks is Osha, but it's really May. And then Osha is probably going to poke at Qimir and say, what's really going on? And then he's going to tell her May's understanding of the story, which, if that story turned May to the dark side, does it turn Osha against the Jedi? Or is she strong enough to see through the lies and use that to her advantage to somehow lead the Jedi to ending Qimir and setting up Qimir for disaster?
Grand, you make a good point that I know I've seen people discussing. Soul should see right through May. Am I right or am I right? That is something that crossed my mind as well. You would think, considering he's clearly a very adept Jedi Master and was the literal lone survivor, and we saw him go ham, we saw him go beast mode, we saw him dunk right back on Qimir after he was dunking on everybody else. So I do want to believe that Soul has the wherewithal to notice and pick up on some weird cues or mannerisms that would suggest that this is not Osha, especially since she was his Padawan for however many years. So he knows her left and right, they're very well in tune, I would imagine, even in spite of her having left the Order. So based on his connection that he had with her so early on from her childhood and how much care he still has for her, I feel like I do want to believe that he would pick up on something paired with Basil sniffing her out. I think it might culminate in a kind of combined moment of realization for both of them. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he literally just got his butt whooped and watched everybody he came there with die, including his Padawan, who was a minor. Like, he's very shaken up and just awoke from, a zap sleep, getting stunned to sleep. So I would imagine all of that trauma paired with then you get zapped, unconscious, fall on your head. He's off balance right now. He's very much, this is probably similar to what, Yoda experienced during Order 66 when he felt all that anguish and pain. Granted, Yoda is like the Grand Master and is incredibly strong.
Like 10,000 Jedi versus 7.
Yes, but they had also been in the midst of war leading up to that. They were more exposed to death by that point because of the Clone Wars. These Jedi what's the most action they've ever gotten? That's probably the most death and tragedy Soul has ever witnessed. Amongst his Jedi companions. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's just extremely shaken up, and that's why at first glance he wouldn't know to differentiate. He wouldn't pick up on that right out of the gate, right as he's woken from his shock sleep. Why can't Soul that he sense that May is not Osha? What kind of Jedi is he? Why aren't the writers of the show know about Jedi senses? Well, everything I'm just saying. I think he will come around.
Well, I don't even know if it's about sensing. May literally has that mark on her forehead.
True.
So
yes.
I don't think they could make it very easy that, okay, yeah, he might not sense her immediately or whatnot. He could be in shock, could be frazzled. But then if he takes a good look at her and sees the mark,
right,
he'll know right away. And I mean, they've been emphasizing the mark with no payoff up to this point in multiple ways. So that is a payoff saying, oh, May's cover is blown, and then Soul's going to use that to his advantage without May specifically knowing it. Because May doesn't have a working relationship with Soul. So if he realizes that it's May and not Osha, I think he is smart enough to manipulate her without her knowing it to have it play into his advantage. So,
he two-timing her.
So I think maybe Basil freaking out
could blow his cover if he's trying to...
Well, it would raise his guard, and then perhaps then he would notice, huh?
Yeah.
What's that swirly mark you got on your forehead there?
Captain Rex, member for 20 months. Thank you so much, my friend, and good to see you. It's been a hot minute, I feel like. Hello there. Looking forward to tonight, having a few drinks. Does anyone know how to make a holy Padawan? I do. Cheers, all. Stop. Too soon. I don't know if I'll ever actually, honestly, like mentally or emotionally fully grasp that happened, but I saw some people sharing comments online from Leslie Headland. I believe in an interview she was discussing this episode, and she said, like, the whole point is, like, we just killed off your faves. Welcome to your new fave. Like, that's meant to be the introduction of Qimir upon the death of everyone else that you had just been rooting for up until that point. So that leads me to believe that there's something in Qimir's background, because I talked about this with you guys on Wednesday in our kind of follow-up stream where we were just hashing it out, trying to dissect anything that had just happened. But as Tom was pointing out, he wasn't just executing the Jedi, he was slaying. He was brutally dehumanizing, not even referring to Jecky's deceased corpse as a she, like, or her. He called her an it, like, he does not see them with any sort of lens of humanity. So I am curious to know how he got to this point of pure hatred. Almost doesn't seem as strong of a word, that he wants to wreak such havoc, and seemingly these felt like revenge killings almost, and it seems to be coming from a personal vendetta, something pent up. So I'm curious if there's anything to him in his backstory to hopefully address where that's coming from. But one of you had mentioned in that stream, if he's truly a Sith, he would have undergone, initiation in which they totally, like, turn you against the Jedi. Like, they become enemy number one. So the fact that he's still rejecting that title, I don't know. I think we both are still in agreement that there's somebody else orchestrating behind the scenes. Oh, yeah.
Why else would he say, oh, I revealed myself, so now I have to kill everybody?
Or else I'm in trouble.
Right? Yeah, exactly. He's gonna have to report to his superior that if any of them survive, that there's a living Jedi that's seen my face. He's gonna do whatever it takes to not let that happen, because he knows, like we've been saying before, that if he does fail in that mission and they do get away, then he's cooked. He's cooked. Master, whoever Master may be, is gonna cook him. Stir fried,
oh skillet, my god,
oven roasted, whatever. He's getting cooked. Crock pot.
Sheesh.
Seared.
Oh my. Okay.
Microwaved.
They're cooking with grease, is what Tom's trying to suggest.
He's gonna be in big trouble with whoever the real Master is if he has the audacity to do what he did and show up and actually end up exposing himself and then letting some of them walk away, Master's not going to be happy.
Yeah, I need to see some. I don't need to see, but I'm curious if he'll recognize that Soul's gone and he didn't get Soul. He knew he was the last one standing, and what he's going to do about that. Because, yeah, to your whole point, this does feel. I'm inclined to believe that there is a master for that exact reason. This sounds like a rookie mistake. A mistake an apprentice would make, after having been in hiding for this long and finally wanting to show their face and make a point and reveal themselves. But Qimir didn't necessarily even relish in the reveal or introduction or, the title of the word Sith. Like, he hasn't even fully necessarily savored that moment with Soul, when Soul's asking him what he wants, who he is. He's still seemingly kind of not rejecting it, but he didn't take that opportunity to fully embrace it and be like, saddle up, Sith are back, baby, But that still leaves me, I'm still convinced that only a rookie, only a, the apprentice, someone in training would make that error because they had the leg up.
Yep.
This means war. It's like, what would he have thought would have come from this? Obviously, he had confidence that he was going to be able to slay them all,
Yep.
take them all down, and not leave any witnesses. But
did a pretty good job.
it's just that's still a little bit callous, a little bit. There was still some room for error that I feel like a master Sith wouldn't.
Yeah.
Have...
Well, his wannabe apprentice May said, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the Jedi and tell them what I know," and so that forced his hand.
True.
At that point, he had to act because he can't let May go to the Jedi and reveal their secrets, like locations or more information, even though he hasn't shared his face. Still, May knows enough information where it could lead the Jedi to him and to a potential master or whatever other secrets they're hiding. So May totally forced his hand. So if your hand is forced, then you clearly got to go all out. And Qimir pretty much went all out.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And I think that they've already shown that they like to take the legends, but then narratively make some adjustments to enhance and add to the story of the show. So what would be the most impactful, narratively speaking, to tie it in with the Sith
do you have another
that
theory
we know
now?
and love?
Strap in, folks. Tom has another theory for how this show is going to go down.
Is that right now the opening crawl says 100 years before the rise of the Empire. If the rise of the Empire happens, Revenge of the Sith, then we are 85 years before the Phantom Menace. 85 years before the Phantom Menace. We know that in Return of the Jedi, Palpatine is like 120, which means that he is like 85 in Revenge of the Sith. They can squeeze that out a little bit. And then squeeze Plagueis out a little bit, such that Plagueis is the real Sith Master. Qimir is his first apprentice. Plagueis ends up
Kicking him to the
brutally
curb.
wiping Qimir from the face of existence once he finds out that he exposed himself. And then Mr. Plagueis has to go find a new apprentice, a young, conniving little Sheev Palpatine. And then that's where this thing gets wrapped up. And obviously the Jedi won't have any idea. It'll just be known to the audience of what happens to Qimir and what happens to the Sith. The Jedi will be totally oblivious at this point, but the audience will be given the insider scoop of Qimir getting wiped from existence and him replaced with Plagueis' next apprentice, Sheev Palpatine.
Someone by the name of Sheev. Well, we have a few super chats here to address. Thank you both so much to Charlie and Captain Rex. Charlie says, can you guys imagine a final fight mid-break, Soul goes off, You killed all of them. And Qimir, I never killed a Wookiee. Dun dun dun. That would be scary. That would be scary. Because I still do question how he beat. I mean, we saw him. He was running through those freaking woods. He's got speed. He's got agility. So, like, I believe it now, but that would certainly throw a wrench in things, be a little twist. And from Captain Wrecked, gotta run. I'm a guest on a watch along tonight, but I'll catch the replay. I also think, despite our theories, Qimir will be the first Ren. Thoughts? Well, thank you so much, Wrecked, for hanging out, for joining us. It was good to see you again. Enjoy your watch party. I've been seeing comparisons, and of course they played Kylo Ren's theme. I'm gonna let this just play out because who knows? There's so many routes it could go, and there's still 3 episodes left. So I think it's possible. But I don't know.
I mean, and the answer that immediately came to my head in the moment was, yeah, when they play Kylo's theme, but then he force heals Osha. Like, Osha is dead with a stab wound that looks literally identical to Kylo's stab wound in Rise of Skywalker. And then Rey force heals him. And then Kylo returns the favor at the end of the movie. So, or Ben Solo returns the favor at the end of the movie. So, in my mind, it was just like, oh, they're tying it in that force healing users from the dyad in the future of Ben Solo and Rey are popping up in this time. And they're showing that, okay, Palpatine's kind of speaking some facts in Revenge of the Sith when he says, he could influence the midichlorians to create life. And here we have Qimir, dark side user, creating life and using the Force to bring someone back to life in the moment. And the only other people we see do that in live action Star Wars are Rey and Ben Solo. So in my mind, that's why the theme played. But you're right. Why would they play Kylo Ren's theme and not maybe like a twisted Rey's theme? Because technically she's the one who does it first. So maybe you're right with the Knights of Ren tie-in and going down that path. I kind of hope not, because I mean, the Knights of Ren were just a ragtag group of gangsters that didn't really do much in the sequel trilogy, and then they just got wiped out.
Yeah.
And so we don't really know anything about their backstory and history, and if they're going to take it this far back in the past, and then like the sequel trilogy didn't really set them up to do anything except for like 10 years before The Force Awakens, it's like, if this is where they start and then they don't evolve and actually they devolve and go regress in power from now until the sequel trilogies, then it's just like a direct competitor with the Sith, except they're dormant until after the Sith are dead in Return of the Jedi, and then they kind of rise up. So it would be interesting, and they could be setting that up, and setting up future projects and whatnot, exploring the Knights of Ren and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the main reason I was hesitant to buy into that theory. Not because I don't think it's entirely plausible, but because the Knights of Ren, in my personal opinion, were very underfeatured, hyped up, and then didn't deliver, in my opinion, to, I don't think they were featured enough to the point that it would inspire somebody to, I mean, it's not impossible that it would inspire somebody to theorize. Sorry, fruit fly. No, you didn't have to do that here. Ew, now. Why'd you do that? Now
You're waving around the camera.
Yeah, that wasn't an invitation for you to kill it live and now get it on your hand for the rest of the dang stream. Ew. Yeah. That's my whole reason why I don't yet subscribe to the fact that this could necessarily be a Knights of Ren tie-in, because I just don't think that they were that pivotal of a part of the sequel trilogy, in my opinion, to warrant theorizing about them this far away, this far back in the timeline, in the future, and what I think is a seemingly extremely unrelated story. I don't discredit like the fact that Ahsoka, Mandalorian, these more recent in the timeline shows that have closer proximity to the sequels and are more of a tie-in have been delving into different sequel related themes and whatnot, and explanations, and the explorations of cloning, of course, that we saw, in the Bad Batch and whatnot, Project Necromancer. Like, I don't think this show, being so far removed as it is from even the prequel generation, that's my stance. Um, that's where I stand. But I think it more plays into, I don't know. That's why I'm like, it's too soon to see. It was a little sneak peek, a little tease. There's still so much to unveil about Chimir's character, who he's truly working for, what his true motivations are. Because that's my biggest question going into this. You know, he wants a pupil to train, but for what purposes? To just unleash, wreak havoc? You know, I think his healing abilities there, which, if I'm being entirely honest with you all, I didn't think. Holler in the chat. Feel free to debate this, because Tom and I debated, because I didn't think that Osha was dead when
She's dead.
Qimir discovers her body. You know,
cold.
we obviously, yeah, she was
Lifeless.
certainly unconscious because we had seen her get force tossed by May.
Yeah, but then we see May ignite the saber, cut her hair, and the next time we see Osha, she's got a gaping stab wound in the side while she's unconscious.
Did you all think she was dead?
And then immediately,
am I stupid?
Immediately after Qimir heals her, she wakes up and is.
She wasn't awake though. She was just stirring, as if you could be unconscious.
As soon as he finished healing her, she came out of it.
But she didn't wake up. Yeah, she was dead, says Jaeger. Osha isn't dead. She was just knocked out. I almost thought she was dead. Was she dead or just unconscious? No, she wasn't dead. I thought she was just knocked out. All right, so y'all are in the same boat as me.
Go back and watch. Did you not see the wound? Did you guys not see her have a giant stab wound? But Qimir heals it. Did you guys not see that?
It didn't look like a lightsaber injury.
It looks if you did a side-by-side comparison of her wound,
I still don't think they would look the
Kylo Ren's wound from the Death Star fight on Rise of Skywalker literally looks identical. In fact, you should pull it up. And
no, I'm not going to do that right now. That's too much work.
It literally is the exact same. As soon as it cut to Osha, I was like, oh my god, she's dead. Because she has the exact fatal stab wound that Kylo Ren had on the second Death Star wreckage in Rise of Skywalker. And then Qimir bends down.
Everyone's on my side
heals her up, and then she instantly jolts awake.
Everyone's on my side here. No, she wasn't dead. I thought she was just knocked out. Osha wasn't dead. No, all right. Blue Winter says never mind. Blue Winter says no, I don't think she was dead. I never thought she was dead. I saw a small wound. It wasn't that deep or big. I think he just turned her over with the force. Wounded, not dead. I did not see a near fatal wound. So you have me out here.
Nope. We're pulling
all right, hey, all right, let me do it.
Pull up. Kylo Ren gets stabbed in Rise of Skywalker.
But her wound looked like it just bloody. Like
it's going to take forever to actually go to Disney Plus and watch the episode. Just Google it.
That means I have to freaking type.
Just Google it. Literally, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is the same exact way Kylo Ren's wound looked in Rise of Skywalker. When Rey stabs him and then heals him.
Yeah, I have to go to Disney Plus because I'm not going to be able to just find it.
It was right up there. Go back up. It's that one. Right there.
You can't see it in that picture, though.
Open it up.
Yeah, you can't see it. That's why I was going to go to Disney Plus.
We'll scroll under there because...
We're not going to be able to just Google search for a photo of that. Point is, everyone's on my side. And I feel like that would have been a bigger discourse on Twitter. Unless Tom really is right and we're all wrong. But I mean,
it looks the exact same. And they were implying that Kylo was dead. He was going to die until Rey...
To your credit, though...
And yeah, we didn't see May stab Osha on screen. May just pushes her, she's knocked out, and then it cuts to May cutting her hair off. But she has a saber out, and then the next time we see Osha, she's got a saber wound.
Kitty,
totally not moving.
Kitty Boom is on my side. No one thought she was dead. Sean says pole position, but I'm going to spare you because I know everybody is on. Jason Olsen says I am on both your sides. To Tom's credit, the only thing that would support that theory is the fact that May would have had a moment of volatility and decided my sister is out to get me. I can't convince her here, so I have to kill her because I'm now impersonating her, and this is the only way to make my plan work.
And May literally told Soul she's gone. When Soul said, "Where's your sister?" May says she's gone. Gone doesn't mean, oh yeah, she's just unconscious, but she's gonna wake up and come find us. Gone means no, she's out of the equation. We don't have to worry about her anymore.
Well, maybe May thought that she had done the job by force chucking her against a boulder. The
No.
boulder.
No, don't bring the boulder into this. Don't bring the boulder
Julian's on
into
your
this.
side. Julian says Tom's right. I don't know. I guess we'll see because one big question and debate I've seen is topics surrounding May's volatility, that's how I would describe her, and I don't see it as wishy-washy writing that she has very different motivations and can then snap and have a different intent, different incentive, different objective within a heartbeat. Like, I think she's just clearly extremely volatile, as we saw when she was a kid. She's a little unhinged. She's a little bit hot-tempered, quick to snap. So I don't rule out the possibility that in her rage and aggression, she says basically the exact same thing Anakin does in Revenge of the Sith. They turned you against me, and what does he do? Nobody complains that in that moment he force chokes Padme. It's a sign of his aggression, and he's leaning into it, and he's that far gone. Like, perhaps that is the case for May here. Granted, she knows she's also in literal... She's fricked. Like, if Qimir finds her, which I'm sure he might, she knows she's on the chopping block. All she did that episode was frickin' run, try to make a quick exit any chance she could, after confessing that she wanted to help her sister and do the right thing here and kind of atone for everything, because that's what mattered to her, and that more importantly than any of these tasks was her bond with her sister. And so the mere sight of him totally threw a 360 into that.
And guys, I'm not saying Osha is permanently dead. We see her get up
Tom's
at the end of the
theory
episode.
is...
Everybody is saying that Osha's alive. Yes, Osha at the end of the episode is alive.
But everyone else did not think that she was, and that he had force healed her, I don't think. I thought that she was just unconscious. And then Tom said, no, she was dead.
It was strange because we didn't see May actually stab her. Like, we didn't see it, but next time we cut to her, there's a hole in her clothes and the same stab wound that Kylo Ren had before Rey healed him in The Rise of Skywalker. So, like, clearly she got stabbed. Do we necessarily know it was May? No. But we know Qimir's walking up to her. So if it wasn't May and it wasn't Qimir, then who was it? Did Osha kill herself? Was she unconscious and then decided to stab herself after she came to? Potentially. But we go from Osha being unconscious on the ground to Qimir finding her with a stab wound that matches Kylo Ren's.
It doesn't match. Hers is bloody. Kylo Ren's literally looks like Sabine's, when she got shanked.
I'm gonna find it.
They're not the same.
I'm gonna find it.
We're back to the Dork Discourse part of things, y'all. You know it's OG Dork Discourse vibes when Tom and I are arguing. I think the win was just from a fall, from the force push. Agreed, Toby, agreed. And Toby also asks, do you think Qimir will recognize... Do you think Qimir thinks that Osha is May? No, I think he knows right off the gate because she has shorter hair. He didn't know that May... He wasn't privy to her disguising herself and now impersonating Osha to escape the planet and get the frick away from him. And I think he also recognized... Or, they made a point to show her tattoo. Her arm tattoo that Osha has. And he's also now met both Osha and May and was able to sniff her out right out of the gate when Osha was formerly trying to impersonate her sister to get answers from him so that they could apprehend him. It never occurred to me or anyone else I know that she had a stab wound. I think you're alone on this, Tom.
I'm clearly in the minority of what people took out of the episode.
But to your point, it makes sense because...
But
if
May
got
truly the clip up right now, Rey and Kylo
was trying to clean up her tracks, that would have been a big liability, knowingly leaving Osha alive, unless she thought that she had finished the job. But perhaps, I don't think May's so far gone, so volatile and unhinged that she in that moment would have snapped to the point of wanting to fully eliminate her sister after just one interaction after all those years. Yeah, his is singed. His is burned. Okay, I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm looking.
That? I'm going to screenshot this so we have a future reference. And now we'll get Osha's wound.
Toby Parker goes, watch Tom actually be right. Maybe. I don't know. we could get answers in this episode. Maybe it'll open with Osha and Qimir, and she'll say, "Oh, was I dead?" And he goes, "Yeah, not anymore." So then we'll all be wrong, and we'll all owe Tom an apology. But I think May's plan here could involve knowing that her sister is still alive, going to try to remedy this. Perhaps Soul's not in danger. Perhaps she still wants to execute her plan of going to Coruscant and sharing what she knows with the Jedi to prove herself, to prove her true intentions to her sister, and to win her back. So granted, I am not. I don't know.
This one's gonna be harder to find. I'm gonna have to go to someone's like reaction video and
see the wound.
Is it in yours?
It might be. Go to my video. I might have gotten a snippet of it. But I don't know. I think May still. I don't think May would have knowingly eliminated Osha without telling her the truth. I don't think she's so volatile that that her aggression would have gotten the better of her, and she would have killed her sister without ever confessing to her the truth of what happened on Brendock. So.
Okay, come on. It's the same. It's the same thing.
No, hers.
It's the same thing. It's literally the same, like partially bloody but cauterized wound. It's this, like almost in the same spot. Hers is a little more on the side versus Kylo's is a little more straight on.
Airdrop those to my computer and we'll analyze them. We're gonna have a deep dive here,
we'll
folks.
do some forensic analysis here on Dork Discourse.
We're gonna investigate the crime scene.
I gotta brightness all the way up.
Bro is so stuck on that. Listen. We all came in here all week. I thought I was the dumb one who didn't notice this out of the gate. Because notice I didn't say anything about it in my reaction. If it was super evident to me that she'd actually been killed and that he literally revived, not just healed, but revived her from the dead, necromancer style.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hung up on it because in my head it was a no-brainer. And it's so crucial to the overall lore of everything that's happening. Like, it's a pivotal moment because in the moment I was like, May really went so far as to kill Osha. Why? And it raises so many questions. But if Qimir says, I literally just brought you back from the dead because your sister stabbed you, and hey, I'm going to tell you about Soul and why he's a horrible person and you shouldn't trust him, that's two pretty good reasons to totally upend Osha's life and make her rethink everything and actually go to the dark side.
But my point is, though, I think May still... This is her Hail Mary last-ditch effort to try to prove to Osha. But
May's last-ditch effort.
Yeah, I don't think she would have wanted to... I don't think she would have wanted to end her. I think she would have... She still has something to prove to her. She wants to try... Why would she eliminate her sister without letting her know the full truth? Clearing her name.
I have no idea. Because Osha turned around and threatened to bring her in. Like, Osha went aggressive. May was trying to have a moment, and Osha turned on her. And in that moment, May's thinking that, oh yeah, there's no coming back. There's no reviving you. There's no turning you around. Clearly the Jedi have brainwashed you. So you're gonna betray.
The brightness on this, not good at all.
You couldn't
have bumped up the brightness a little bit.
I did.
All right. Well,
I can, I guess, edit it here and make it a little more, I guess. Here. I just updated it. What'd you just say?
Oh, whoops. Y'all didn't hear that. Pretend y'all didn't hear that.
That's
yeah.
Max,
we have to bump up that brightness a little bit, y'all. Okay. All right. We're going to compare and contrast. If my computer ever wants to load.
So she didn't get stabbed by a lightsaber. Are people saying she got stabbed by a stick or something?
It's saying the airdrop was canceled, I think, because you closed your phone. Oh. People are suggesting that it was a wound from when she got tossed.
So
when she got yeeted.
What's going to produce that circular wound? A stick?
Like, yeah,
a perfect
it's your
shank
credit.
From a stick?
All right, folks. Forensics incoming. Forensic
pull it up side by side.
analysis.
And then
I'm
share
trying to just...
that screen.
No, that's the same freaking one.
Yeah, I sent you both at the same time.
Alright, well, the Kylo Ren one was fine. It's the OSHA one. Alright, that's a little bit better.
All right. Let's see if this sways anybody to let's see if they're
To
convinced.
our cause.
Yeah.
To your cause. Yeah. Alright, hang on, folks. We're trying to just get it proportionate here. Alright. There we go. I'm gonna minimize us because we're covering.
Make. Oh, you got them side by side.
Frick, no, I didn't want to do that. Let me move.
You gotta drag the. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right.
Yep, there we go.
Here's what we're trying to analyze, folks.
We have Kylo Ren right after Rey stabs him and heals him in the Rise of Skywalker. And then we got Osha's very suspect, similar looking wound, in my opinion. That Qimir then immediately goes and heals as the Kylo Ren theme starts to play. So, what are you guys thinking? Is that pure coincidence? Reading too much into this, or is Osha dead as a doornail with a stab wound that Qimir hears, just like Rey heals in the Rise of Skywalker? So, Kylo's wound looks way worse. I think Kylo has unfavorable lighting. He's got the nice, cloudy, perfect photographer Death Star weather with nice lighting on the wound. Versus Osha's in a
And we had to bump up the brightness.
Forest, and yeah, the screenshot itself was pretty dark. So
yeah, excuse the pixelation. This was us trying to bump up the brightness. Lightsabers cauterized, so no blood. Yeah, Osha's looked a little bit bloody to me. T-Money, what's up?
Also, Kylo's is a little more after Rey starts healing, because you see Rey's hand.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit, that's like halfway through the healing process. It's redder before Rey actually starts to heal it. So it's not a true, like, pre-heal moment, but Kylo's kind of more hunched over on the side before Rey starts to heal, and then when Rey starts to heal, then they make it more visible to the audience. So
I agreed with Elwood Blues. Osha's looks more like a slash than a stab. That's what I thought. The way her clothing is, the way her garment is torn, because the edges around
but Kylo's like
are very
oval shape.
It's not the shape; it's the edges. It looks like it has been burned, not ripped.
He's wearing like a full, thick Sith outfit. Osha's just wearing like a tank top undershirt here. So her fabric, we're really talking about the fabric of the outfit.
We are digging into
Osha's fabric is thin, like a Hanes undershirt t-shirt is what Osha's wearing. Kylo is wearing his full, thick, all-weather-proof Sith, all-weather, like, Duluth trading outfit right now. So that's why his is so thick and Osha's is so thin. So her material is going to be more malleable versus Kylo's going to be more rigid. But regardless, Kylo's is still not a perfect circle because obviously his body's going to contort it to be not a perfect circle versus a lightsaber is a cylindrical shape.
I'm not suggesting...
And same with Osha.
I literally was just saying, I'm not suggesting it's the shape. Yeah, they're similarly shaped, but the way her fabric looks, it looks like it was like a knife or... I don't know. We might get answers this episode.
I think Qimir is going to say...
I raised you from the dead.
Even if he says, yeah, your sister stabbed you and left you for dead, does that mean that she did? No. But the evidence would line up and she would look down and be like, oh my God, you're right. I'm alive. How am I alive? And then Qimir says, I brought you back from the dead. And now let me tell you why the Jedi are evil and May was right to kill them. And the true story. Perfect explanation because the last thing that Osha saw of Soul is that Soul's admitting to having secrets, holding secrets for 16 years. All this time, Soul was keeping secrets. So that's already going to turn Osha's world upside down. And then now we have Qimir saying May literally stabbed you and killed you, and I just revived you. Um, it would add up. It would add up in my head, and it would be a good reason to explain why Osha would go to the dark side and actually join Qimir. If that's the way they're gonna go with it.
Well, let us know, folks, if this did anything to convince you. I would make this our poll topic for the night, but it seems like most people are still on my side.
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah.
I'm just a little bit I think I am owed an apology for you telling me that I was in the wrong.
I mean, to me, I saw it and I was like, in my mind, like that just came to me instantly. So when you said no, she wasn't dead, she was just unconscious.
Did think,
but you didn't even notice the stab wound or the healing or Carlos thing.
I noticed that. I just didn't think he was rising her from the dead. I didn't think it was a clear, like, she was dead and then she was awake. She never opens her eyes. She just looks like she stirred from sleep. I don't know. We might find out tonight, folks. We may see.
We very well might.
Yeah, Sean makes a good point. What about that citizen outfit that Osha was wearing? Was she stabbed before or after May took that? That could affect things. I think
probably after, because we don't see a stab wound on May when she's wearing it.
Listen, Tom and I watch a lot of Forensic Files, folks, so that's why we're really digging into this and the optics and appearances of the crime scene and what we have.
But Sean's totally right. May would be stupid to stab her and then wear the stabbed clothes. Like, you're going to wear an outfit with a hole in it, and then your victim has the same hole in the same exact spot? Like, that's traceability, May. What are you doing? So you're right, Sean. The answer is, if May did stab Osha, she would have taken her citizen outfit off and then stabbed her, and then potentially used that to say, hey, if I got to go in front of a jury, I was wearing the outfit, but Osha has a hole in her outfit. If someone killed Osha and took the clothes, why is there not a hole in my outfit? Jury can't convict that.
That's true. That's
the
true.
Jedi jury, the Jedi Coruscant jury.
Yeah, May would have stabbed her after taking the citizen robes for herself. Forensic Files is insanely good. It's a great show. People are so smart. Shout out to the great minds of this world who are able to look at those two. If that was the only evidence we could give to a forensic analyst, they'd probably be able to figure this out and solve it for us if they were here. But those people are true geniuses. We are merely trying to cosplay as them and absorb from our knowledge that we have gained from watching years worth of that show. But
Jaeger goes, I don't think she was even stabbed. Like, Jaeger, come on. We just pulled up the screenshot. What else is that bloody hole tear in the clothes? I mean, is it? Are you just think it's like just a scrape on the ground?
Maybe just a suggestion of a wound. Yeah,
she got some rug burn and it tore through her tank top that we already said was super thin material. So maybe it is. Maybe it's just that's where she landed and skidded on the concrete and just burnt through. Right? Like if you like fall off a bike or a motorcycle or something and then you're just skidding on the ground, it just burns through.
I mean, I have evidence from recent events.
True, yes.
And it didn't look like that. I don't know. I recently scraped the shiz out of my knee like a 5-year-old, y'all, and that wound didn't look like what Osha has. I don't know. We need to test this. Like they do on Forensic Files. They get the dummy and they throw it and they see if it obtained any wounds that the evidence would suggest.
So we need a lightsaber, and then one of us has to get stabbed in the side, and then we see what happens.
Well, I would make that our poll idea for this evening, folks, but I think everyone's on my side. I think everyone... No, I have another...
Okay.
I have another one for this evening. All right.
We haven't had like a one-sided poll in a while, so
listen.
You're thinking it's really one-sided.
Everyone was on my team. I don't know if even our little analysis there did anything.
Everyone talking in the chat. There's like 40 people watching right now, so there could be a silent majority
not interacting.
Afraid to speak up because you're the host and it's your channel, and they wouldn't want to make the host of the channel mad at them.
People have called me out on here when I'm in the wrong. People have not been afraid to choose sides in the past. Anyways, tonight's poll, no.
One thing's for sure, Jackie isn't coming back to life.
No.
You're probably right about that.
Death is permanent in this point in the timeline. There's no Bacta for them, and I don't think even enough Bacta in the world could save Yord, so they are hashtag out for the count. Tonight's poll, assume your positions, folks, and you may fire when ready. Flashbacks tonight? Question mark. Yes or no? Let me know what y'all think. I don't know. I think maybe. Because I think perhaps the episode leading up to the finale, penultimate episode being number 7, which will be next week, if there are indeed 8 episodes in this, which I think there are. That might be cut a little too close, maybe, to get answers right up that point. But I don't know. We'll see. We're all quaking at Catherine's wrath. No, don't worry, y'all. See, no, everybody agreed with me for the most part. I wouldn't listen, I was curious. That's why I asked, because I was like, did everybody else catch this and I'm just an idiot? So I was curious what the consensus was.
It was very subtle. The whole thing was very subtle and quick.
After tonight, we could find out. But everyone is resoundingly in agreement for the most part. 73% saying, yes, we will have some flashbacks tonight. But I think I'm hoping it's what you were saying. It's not going to be the full episode like it was episode 3. Although I think there's still plenty. There could still be a full episode, worth of flashback content to the events on Brendok from the Jedi perspective. Yep. One thing you guys pointed out, I keep expressing that episode 3, the way it was shaped and the lens, that the Coven was portrayed and the Jedi were portrayed, I really did feel like the Jedi were the bad guys there. They were the infiltrators. They were the foreigners there. They were on, they went to the Coven's dojo. It wasn't even their turf. And it rubbed me the wrong way. So one of you pointed out, though, like, we don't know what the Jedi were told about this Coven or what their research came to prove, like, we only see the Coven side of things. And they mention their exile, but we don't know, we're not privy to that or for what reason it could have been. So who knows? As Torben says, his dying words to May, we thought we were doing the right thing. Perhaps we'll see, similar flashbacks from their POV and see what their, discussions were, see what was going on, what were they, what they thought they were dealing with, that they had to intercede to get the girls out of there. But from Julian, thank you so much, my friend. Make way for Smilo Ren, Master Dark Helmet. Yeah, I hope he repairs that, because that helmet was really sick. I low-key was a little salty. I was like, holy shiz, we're getting the reveal. But then I was like, dang it, this is a really cool helmet. It's a shame that it got broken. Jackie smashed it off his face.
No. Yeah, Toby, I think you totally nailed it. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. The Jedi are going to come into the facility right as the fire starts. Torben gets taken over, and Torben helps the witches kill, fight the Jedi, and like end up triggering the event that kills everybody. That would totally make sense. They already showed that they can possess the Jedi. So if they end up possessing certain Jedi and then they're fighting and all this stuff, and then that's actually how they all end up dying, because the Jedi have no choice but to kill them, because it's either free Torben or kill the or die. I think it makes sense. And it would make sense why he would potentially just put himself in a trance and kill everybody, because if he feels like he was the weak enough link to get corrupted, overtaken like that, and then ultimately leads to a bunch of death.
I think so. It's evident that he was the youngest Jedi there. I imagine he was maybe one of their apprentices, perhaps, at the time. Or Padawans. I don't know. Although his name is Master, so he probably would have... If he took the vow pretty immediately after the events that transpired, I don't think they would have named him Master in the midst of his permanent meditation. So he probably actually was just a younger Master by the time they got there, but I don't know.
Yeah. And Sean, that's a fantastic point too. Wonder if the Sith brought the Jedi there to mask what they were really after. I think you're totally right. I mean, in our first stream after episode 3, we were talking about this whole thing has to be orchestrated by the Sith in some way. The Coven's downfall, the Jedi getting involved, May and Osha's liberation from the Coven. One of them ends up in the hands of the Sith. Like, if they pitch it that the Jedi know the Coven have this power, but how are they going to get that power without anybody knowing about it? Voila. Orchestrate the Jedi coming in. The Coven thinks the Jedi killed him. The Jedi think that the Coven killed themselves. Neither side knows about the Sith. yet they end up taking May, who knows about the power to heal, as one of their own, and the Sith are totally not involved in the crime scene whatsoever. They orchestrate the whole thing. It makes total sense.
We're not going to have to...
They're master conductors.
We're not going to have to keep guessing for much longer. Yep. We could be getting some answers tonight. I think they've drawn that element out enough to the point that you're like, all right, what the frick did Soul and all of them do? One of you had asked earlier, way earlier, like when we first started streaming, if we think Soul is guilty of killing the Coven or some members of it. I don't think so. I think, you know, his intention was to go in there and get the girls. That's the only kind of reason I could think that was his task when they were there. And none of the other Jedi were to be found. So I'm gonna listen. Power to them for constructing a character that I am willing to root for to the ends of the earth. Ride or die. I will get in the octagon for Soul. Even though I know, like, week by week, your suspicion grows and you begin to accept that he had a hand in this and he is guilty and his hands are not clean. I still freaking love this man, and I'm like, I don't even want to know. It's like, I'm like Otto Hightower as Allison is like begging to confess her sins. I'm like, I don't wish to know it. Keep that to yourself. Like, I love you too much. Keep it to yourself so I can just keep rooting for you in good conscience. Like, that's how I feel about this man, and I commend them for like creating this mystery, and it's pretty undeniable at this point that he had a hand to play in this. There is a guilty conscience there, perhaps. But I still freaking love him, and they could reveal it. They could reveal anything, and I'll be like, well, I'm still Team Soul. But I think they've drawn it out enough to this point that I think some answers are due for tonight, whether it's about Brendok or Qimir and what he wants in all of this and how it pertains to him and May. I think we're getting some. So, poll is ending with a pretty 60-40 split of what we're about to wrap up anyway. I skipped an ad roll so that we could just keep talking because I hate the friggin' ads on these live streams. Flashbacks tonight. 60% of y'all said 60% of y'all said yes, 40% no. Pretty even-ish split, almost 50-50 there, so we'll see. But I hope, regardless whether there are flashbacks or not, they keep up this momentum. Things shiz really hit the fan. And I don't want them to dial it back. I want them to just pedal to the metal, keep sending it now that they've opened an absolute just can of whoop-ass. Pardon my French, but sometimes you have to say it. There's no friendly way to put it. There's no non-curse word for whoop-ass. But the episode is potentially dropping for some of you guys as we approach. We're T-minus 3 minutes out from 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So for those of you who are watching, if you have to depart, if the episode is dropped for you because it's early and you're lucky, then thank you for joining us for our pregame this evening that spiraled into some forensic analysis of Star Wars and wounds and cauterization.
Yeah, some forensic analysis in your episode 4 reaction. Full pixel by pixel analysis of the Smilo Ren's arms and height and all that stuff.
That's so just...
they're setting up. It's nice crime thriller mystery show we've got on our hands here.
Yeah, well, that's what's great about this show. It gives you just enough to fixate on and try to dissect. And you know, I freaking stayed on that still image in episode 4 at the end of the finale of trying to figure out who this was for like an hour after the episode. We pulled it up on the TV. I was like, pause, stop, screenshot it. I was like giving a PowerPoint presentation based on what I thought. So no, that's what's exciting about this show. It gives you so much to theorize about. And I just hope that, you know, at the end of it all, it can still find ways to surprise us. You know, I think we've had some great theories here week after week. But I still hope there's, based on what I've heard about Leslie Headland's past work, like this is still just the beginning. There's still so much more embroiled here. Yeah, so I think there's still lots more in store. So T-minus 1 minute, folks. Yep. Enjoy the episode this evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we really appreciate it, and it's always a good time. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do what I did last week and go live tomorrow afternoon, but I apologize for the fact that I didn't even give y'all really much of an advance. That was a very impromptu thing, so no worries if you missed it, because it was not on the docket, but perhaps for the next few weeks, the final 2 episodes, beginning next week, and then the following, maybe we'll do that as a little Wednesday recap, follow up, digest together, and emotionally recover, since I don't think this is the end. I think Leslie still saved a little bit of trauma in store for the last few episodes, and I think Soul could be on the chopping block. So we might need
Soul is for sure dying. Like, for sure dying. For sure.
Yeah, well.
Soul's dying. Ocha's dying. May's dying. All dying.
Well.
Finestra is going to come and to Brendok, or not Brendok, whatever Kenlock's planet is, and find everybody dead.
Well.
Qimir is going to keep his promise of no Jedi or no witness of this event leaves his planet alive.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. On that note, enjoy episode 6. It is for sure out for everybody now, so go enjoy on Disney Plus, and we will catch you guys again for a little recap next week to theorize and see what happened, and perhaps do some more forensic digging. So until then, hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, night, morning, evening, 3 a.m., wherever you may be. My fellow Americans, enjoy the vacation this week if you're taking one. Happy early 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
Happy birthday, America. And until next time, hope you guys are doing so well as always, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon.
Enjoy.
Bye, friends.
Thanks for hanging out.